Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Riley and today I'm going to be doing a progress update on all of the projects that I have going on at the moment. I have a half-finished object, I have a couple works in progress, and then I have 2 new cast-ons that I'm really excited to talk about. And I'll start, of course, with what I'm wearing. This is my step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller. I knit it in Drops Nepal in the color Blush, and I really love it. I did this as my first ever sweater, or first ever knit garment, and I did it last year and got it done in time for Valentine's Day, so I thought I would knit it, or not knit it, but I would wear it again for Valentine's Day this year. You can tell that it was a first project, I think, because the sleeves are too short, but I love it anyways, and it's very warm and cozy, and yeah, so let's jump into the video. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is my half-finished object. So I say half-finished because it's mittens, and so one mitten is finished and I've just cast on the second. So I'll show you the finished one. I haven't woven in the ends yet because that's like my least favorite thing to do. And so I'm just kind of waiting until they're both done and then I'll do it, even though there's like 4 to do on each. This is what it looks like. So it's just got this like slip stitch pattern along the back that I really like. The yarn that I'm using for this is alpaca, like 100% alpaca from a local like alpaca farm and mill, and it just feels really cool. I bought it at a farmer's market, and the farm that it comes from is like half an hour out from where I live. And so it's just cool that the alpacas are just like so nearby. And I got an undyed one because I just really liked this natural color. I just thought it was like just a nice kind of off-white. Yeah, it just felt kind of like elegant to me. The pattern that I'm using is just a free one that I found on Ravelry that I'll have linked down below. I think it has 3 sizes. I made this small, but I will say like the circumference fits the measurement of my hand, but I don't know if maybe my fingers are just a little longer than they expect for like the small size. But the repeats, like it's just like a 4 round repeat to get the texture once you get past like the thumb. And I added, I can't remember exactly how many, I want to say even like 4 of those repeats, just to get the length that I wanted because I was trying it on, and I know they'll like stretch out a bit when I block them, but it was just not going to be long enough to fit over my hand. So I'll try it on. I also have these like press-on nails right now, so my nails are much longer than they normally are, but this is what it looks like. I think it's really nice. It's definitely a little tight, but I think that'll kind of block out when I finish them. But they're really soft, they're really warm, so that'll be really nice in like Canadian winter. I ideally had wanted to have them done to use this winter, and I mean, you know, if I make the second one really fast, I'll probably still get to use it a little bit. It's only February. But so far I've just gone up to the cuff because I have some other things that I'm working on with like actual deadlines that I'll talk about later, and so I've just kind of put these on the back. But I have the cuff done, and so it's just good, I think, to get the second one cast on when it comes to things like this or socks, just so that it's already ready to go when you feel motivated to pick it back up. But yeah, I'm really happy with them. I'm excited to have them, especially for next winter, and to see how it looks once they're blocked out and if they just fit a little more comfortably. But so far I'm really happy with them. Okay, and then for things that I have not yet finished and I'm still a little ways away from finishing, we have my second Musselburgh hat. So this one is for my husband. The first one was supposed to be for him, but it ended up being a little too small, so this one is the next size up. The first one was adult medium, so now this is adult large. And I mean, I'm really happy with it. This is my second time making it with the exact same yarn. So, you know, not too much has changed. It's pretty much just doing the exact same thing over again. I bring this with me, like, I don't know, this is probably my most portable project and easiest to work on without really looking at it. So like I'll bring it to like church and stuff and school, and then like I'm still listening, and I honestly find that I listen better if I have something to kind of hold on to and work on. So it's kind of hard to tell if there's really been any progress, but it's just a slow project. Same thing with this though as with the mittens. I wanted to have this done. I mean, I wanted to have that first hat done for like Christmas, New Year's time, and it was, but then it didn't fit. So it would have been nice to have this done for him to use this winter, but it'll be ready for fall. I'll just keep working on it. It's definitely like my most portable thing, so it just always gets brought with me anywhere I go. And I just work a few rounds here and there as I'm able to. But you have to get it pretty long, so we'll see how long it actually takes me to finish this one. I probably won't include updates on this in every like progress video, just because it's just going to become a longer and longer tube, and so I feel like unless there's something really interesting to share, there's no point in bringing it up. It'll just be like, well, I added another inch to the hat. But it is a really nice, like, relaxing project to have, so I do enjoy it for that. In terms of more exciting progress on things I've got going on, I finally have made some progress on my sleeve of my sweater. Okay, this is the front. So I've just finished the second stripe on the sleeve, and at this point what I'm trying to figure out, because I only have one ball of yarn per sleeve, and then I figure the collar I'll pick up and do like in the pink would look good, but, or no, maybe I'll do it in yellow. I think it's because the bottom I did in yellow, so I think I'll do the collar in yellow, and then the cuffs at the end of the sleeves I'm going to do in pink. But the issue that I'm kind of running into, let's see if I can find the one I'm actually working with, is this is how much yarn I have left for this sleeve. And so I think my plan at this point is I'm just going to keep going basically until this runs out, and then at that point I'll just switch to the pink and make it a cuff and hope that that gives me enough length. I don't know, I just really don't want to order more, because I just like know that then I run the risk of the color being slightly different in just like this weird one section of each sleeve. And I ordered it from Wool Warehouse in the UK, and so then I'd have to wait for it to come and pay for like shipping and stuff like that, and so it just seems like more trouble than it's really worth. At the same time, I have considered like frogging it and just modifying it to be slightly smaller to use the yarn that I have a little bit better. But I do like the way that the body sits. Like, I wanted it to be a really nice oversized sweater. So I think I just kind of want to stick with it, see how much this gets me in the rest of the sleeve, because if I can get another, I think this is 20 stitches in between, like 20 rounds in between each set of stripes. If I can get another 20 and then do the cuff, I think that'll be long enough. I hope it will be. So we'll see. Usually I don't have to play yarn chicken. Usually I order more than I need, and I thought I was with this, and I don't know what happened and why I'm running so low. But I guess we'll just see how it turns out. And I mean, this was never going to be like my fanciest, like nicest looking sweater. It was just supposed to be comfy, and I am really happy with it. This pink yarn here is actually left over from this, my step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller. And this is the Pippi pullover by Kiss Kiss Rhinestones on Instagram. I think she also has it on Ravelry now, but it was just like a free one that she posted on Instagram that I saved. So it's just like a one size, at least the one that I have. I don't know if maybe on the Ravelry pattern it's put into different sizes, but the one that I have is just one size, but I went off of her measurements and felt like it would fit well enough on me. So we'll see. I'm also hoping that maybe when I block it, if the sleeves do feel a little short with the amount of yarn that I have, that it'll just kind of pull it out a little bit and like make it long enough. But yeah, I just decided that I really don't want to buy more yarn, and so I'm just gonna take my chances and see how it turns out. But this is it so far. Yeah, I was happy to finally actually start the sleeve, because once you start it, it's really not that bad. I just really hate picking up stitches. But other than that, it's good, and then I'll just have to pick up for the other sleeve and the collar. But I think at this point I just kind of want to have this sweater done so that I can focus on other sweaters and things that I want to make, maybe pick up yarn for a new project. Because I kind of like to have, instead of accumulating a lot of yarn for future projects, I like to kind of finish a project and then use that to buy yarn for my next project, so I don't have too much at any one time. So if I can get this done, then I can start whatever I decide to do next, whatever kind of big project. So yeah, that is my Pippi pullover. So another work in progress that I've made minimal progress on, but still want to talk about right now, is my Petal drop socks. So these are by Florence Miller as well, and I just think they're so fun. I really love the texture. You can kind of see. It's like the first ever thing that I've ever done that has like a lace texture to it, and I think this is a really good introduction to it. It's not too much to like keep track of. Like, it's a pretty easy to memorize and understand kind of pattern. And I also just really love the yarn that I'm using for it. This is Noro, like Silk Garden sock solo, something like that. I do not have the tag on me right now, but I just think it is so pretty. I just love like all the different colors in it. There's even like a little bit of a gradient. It's not picking up quite as well, but like it starts pink here and then like green and then into the blue, and I just think it's so gorgeous. I'm trying to figure out what kind of shoes would be best to wear. I know people have like the Birkenstock clogs or loafers, but I personally just don't like shoes like that. I find they never stay on my feet very well. So I'm just trying to figure out good shoe options that show off like nice hand knit socks, but are also comfortable, especially if they're good in like a couple different seasons. Like, they could kind of go from spring through to fall up until there's like snow on the ground. That would be great. So if anyone knows of really good shoes that kind of fit that need, that would be awesome. This is also my first time using DPNs, and I'm really enjoying it, honestly. I feel like a wizard whenever I'm working on these, just because, like, I don't know, it's so interesting how you just, like, they just move around and you just keep transferring it from each needle to the next. And like, it just looks so much more complicated than it actually is, I think, because of having so many things going on at the same time. And so the fact that I can actually do it just makes me feel kind of cool. But I do think that this will probably be how I choose to make socks from here on out. I do think I'm preferring this to Magic Loop. I just find it requires less adjustment of like pulling the cord back and forth. So yeah, I'm really happy with how these are turning out. The progress is definitely slow, but right now that's just because I'm just trying to enjoy it. Like I don't feel any need to rush doing it, just because now isn't really a season when I'd want to be wearing them anyways. They'd just be stuck inside my boots, like you wouldn't see them. And I just want to enjoy the process, and I feel like if I try and like force myself to do it really fast, then I won't enjoy it as much. Whereas now it is in this like yarn bowl that I got, and so I just keep it on my coffee table, so it's always there if I'm sitting down watching something on the couch, and I can just pick it up, do however many parts of the like lace repeat as I want, and then just leave it until the next time I feel like picking it up. And yeah, it's a really good pattern, very easy to understand. I believe it also has a YouTube tutorial as well, which is great. I think Florence does a really good job of like helping people feel comfortable picking up knitting as a hobby, because she does have quite a few of her own patterns that she makes tutorials for that are very descriptive and easy to follow. And so I really appreciate that. I mean, this pattern was the first one I made by her, and well, it was my first pattern in general, but this definitely gave me the confidence to then pick up more kind of patterns and projects and feel like I could do them, because this just did such a good job of teaching the basics of making a sweater and of just like knitting in general. And then now with the socks, picking up a new technique with that. And so I'd highly recommend it. I mean, I haven't finished them yet, obviously, but I think it's a really good, fun sock pattern that has a little bit of detail and like texture to it, but isn't overly complicated to pick up. So yeah, it's a really good one. Okay, and then in terms of new cast-ons, I have two, and the first one is one that I talked about in my last video about wanting to start, and that is my Olive's vest by Knitting for Olive. This is just the front here. And right now I'm working on the back. So this is in Knitting for Olive. The Merino here is in Dusty Artichoke, and then the Mohair is in Dusty Sea Green. And I'm really, really liking the color. Might show better on the back, you can kind of see. This is my first project really with like Mohair, where you can see like the effect that it has on the color, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I just think it's so pretty, and it just adds just a little bit more, I think, to the fabric overall. I also am like really happy at how soft the Mohair feels so far. And I know it might be different once I'm actually wearing it and it's on my neck. Like I find this is Drops Nepal, which is wool and alpaca. And I do find it a little bit itchy, but not enough to like not want to wear it. And I usually find that like once I have it on for a little bit, like I stop noticing it. So we'll see what happens when I wear this, because this is another like thick collar. It's not quite as high, which I think will make a difference, but so far it's really soft, and so it makes me a little worried that I'm going to want to add Mohair into like a ton of my projects going forward, and that just adds another expense to it. But I think it is kind of nice to know that I like it, because I also like, I don't know if it'll really show up here, but just the fuzziness that it gives. So in terms of the pattern itself, this is one that is in the book, which I got for Christmas in 2023. And so this is the first pattern that I'm knitting by them at all, and my first one out of the book. And I will say, like, it's easy enough to understand, but at the same time, I have really had to like read and reread sections a few times just to make sure I'm doing everything correctly. because I don't want to like mess anything up. But it is, I guess, less easy to understand than other patterns that I followed. For example, the step-by-step sweater here is, I think, a very well-written pattern, but there's also like a whole YouTube video tutorial, and so this one is a little less of like a hold your hand, take you through every single step kind of pattern, which is fine, because I think like all the techniques that it uses are ones that I've learned in other patterns like German short rows. But I think honestly one thing that really just kind of threw me off was I kind of expected this to be more of just like knitting in the round kind of all the way down, and then you just like leave space for the arms. But really once you finish the collar, like it is a lot of back and forth and short rows and then just like back and forth. Like right now I'm working on the back and it's just going back and forth on this section, like from here to here. You can kind of see where it splits. So this is the shoulder and this is the back, this is the other shoulder. So this gives you a better idea of how far away I am like from this shoulder point. And so then I think that's just kind of what threw me off, is I was looking at it, reading it as though I was supposed to be knitting in the round, but it was really just back and forth. And so once I got closer to these steps that I was reading and was able to kind of picture it all better, it went smoother, but it did confuse me a few times just kind of while getting into each of like the following steps. So I think from here on out it'll be okay, and I'm really liking it. It's really soft. I really like the color. I think it'll look nice and be good. Like I just think the color is good in lots of different seasons. So I'm really happy with how it's going so far. I'm glad that I have been able to follow the instructions and so far haven't had to like frog anything. So I'm hoping that that is the case for the rest. I just really hate frogging anything. I really just try and find ways to avoid it as much as possible. But yeah, I would also, I'm planning to do a project vlog for this, so I've got a few clips so far. I've never done one before, but I thought this would be a fun one to do it with. I just kind of feel like this is a special project just because it's my first like project out of the book that I got, and I'm using their yarn for it, and I've never used their yarn before, and so it just kind of feels like a fun and special like knitting for olive focused project to do a little feature video about. So yeah, you can keep your eye out for that. I don't know when it'll be done, but I'm hoping sometime April or May so that I can get some wear out of it. But yeah, this is it so far. Okay. And then for my last cast on, this is something that I didn't talk about in my last video because I didn't know that this existed yet, but this is my very first test knit, which I'm so excited about. And so it is the Side Bow Slipover by Noelle Knits. And so right now I'm almost done the back panel. You can kind of, there. So there's like a little ribbing detail on the sides. It's gotten all tangled at the bottom here. There we go. So yeah, I decided, I saw the picture on Instagram of this slipover and I thought it was so cute, and I knew that my sister would really like it. And so I had her pick out the color that I was going to use for it. And so this is, I believe, the color Caramel. This is the same yarn that I used for my stick season sweater. It's the Gathering Yarn Haynes Creek Heathers. And so my stick season sweater is in the forest green of that yarn. And then my mom wanted a stick season sweater, and so then we got the exact same yarn in teal, and now we have the same yarn again for this project in caramel. And so I think that makes it the yarn that I've bought the most, for sure. But it's just really nice, and I just know that I like the way that it turns out in a finished product. And what was also really nice is that the Stick Season sweater, the gauge that I got on the same size needles as this project and with the same yarn, is the right gauge for this project. So I knew that this would be a good choice of yarn for this test knit, which is really nice, to kind of go into it knowing that the needles, like the needle size that it requires, would work perfectly with the yarn choice to get gauge. And so all I have to do now at the bottom here is just add on like ribbing. You just do a few inches here, but I went over and saw my sister yesterday and measured this and made sure that the length was what she wanted it to be. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. I didn't expect to get into a test knit, so I was really happy to do that. I just think it's a really exciting thing. I think everything that the pattern requires is something that I know how to do, except for the double knit like bands at the side that you'll use to tie the bow. I've never done double knitting before, but I think that that'll be a really good technique to know how to use. I know a lot of cardigans require like a double knit band, like for the button band. So I think that it's definitely a very valuable skill to have. So I'm excited to learn it. I think this is a good one to like learn it on. It'll be somewhere down here, I think, where we've got the stitch marker. But yeah, I believe right around the end of March is when the test knit, like the testing period, closes. And then I think the pattern itself will come out pretty soon after that. I've already decided that I'm going to be knitting myself one after I finish this. What I want to do for my own is like a beige kind of cream. And then there's this stuff that's like Make It Tweed, and it's just like this really thin like tweed stuff, and you can get it in different colors. So I'm deciding between the rainbow one and the pastel one. I'm kind of leaning towards pastel. I just think it would be really cute, and that way it would kind of match pretty much anything if you have just those little flecks of color in there. But she also my sister saw the yarn in person yesterday, and as soon as I pulled it out, she's like, oh my gosh, I love the color. So that was a relief, because she wasn't there when I bought it. I just tried to send her the most like color accurate photos I could to pick it out. So it was definitely a relief to hear that she liked it after seeing it in person. But yeah, this is my main thing that I'm working on, just because it actually does have a real deadline. And yeah, it's been pretty relaxing. It's just knit flat, so it's just a lot of back and forth, and then there's like the shaping, but at this point now I'll just be doing the ribbing, which I honestly enjoy knitting, like ribbing sections. I think it'll go by pretty fast instead of like full purl rows. I think just getting to alternate back and forth, for some reason I just prefer that. But yeah, this is the side bow slipover so far. But as soon as the pattern is released, I'll definitely be sharing it, because I think it's a really cute pattern and it seems very straightforward to follow. All of the people in the test knit are doing it in so many different beautiful colors, so I think it's very easy to customize. Yeah, I would definitely recommend once this pattern comes out. Alright, and that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm really happy with how all my projects are coming along at the moment. I definitely think that this is the most, this is the maximum number of projects I want to have going at any one time. I've kind of been experimenting, because I know some people like to have lots of different things going on. Some people like to just have like one, maybe two projects and just stick to that. I think I'm kind of in the middle. I like having a variety, like something bigger to work on, something smaller, something stockinette, something textured or cabled or whatever it may be. And so I think this is probably the max number of projects I want to do, and I'll probably, as I finish things, start kind of just waiting before I cast anything else on so that I can finish more than I start. But I do have a break from school coming up in this next week, so I definitely have plans to either finish or just make a good amount of progress on everything you saw here today. I only have one project that I have like the yarn for already that I haven't cast on yet, so I think I'll cast that one on depending on whenever I finish the next thing. I don't know what it'll be, but I'll cast that on, and then after that it'll probably be a minute before I cast on anything new, just so I can give myself time to clear some things off, have less like project bags filling up my coffee table. But yeah, I'm really happy with everything I have, and there's nothing that I don't want to work on, so that's nice. I feel like that's a good place to be. There's no project that I'm not enjoying. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed watching. If you have recommendations for future patterns that you think I should cast on, I'd love to hear them. I definitely have some projects that I'd really like to do this year, that I'd like to talk about in the next video, of just maybe not realistically what I'll actually be able to do, but just patterns that I've had my eye on for a while. And so if you have any recommendations of patterns that you think would be good to check out, let me know. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and I hope that you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.